Corso and Catone.
I think well, listen, Mark, listen, hold on. When I say, would you have caffeine today?
What the hell is that up to then?
Presented by Special Sauce Podcast, Studio 42 Design, and Corso Law Group. Now for the real deal New England feel, Corso and Catone.
Welcome into Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel. I'm Corso. Catone is out. Joe is in. And you're always in, watching us on YouTube, listening on iHeartRadio and Apple Podcast. And listen, you can listen to us live on Podbean. So check that out. We can get that done while Joe has his nice little, what is that? Orange soda? What are you drinking over there?
No. This would be
I thought you were like a health freak.
They're not. No, this is seltzer water. They're not. We're not sponsored by, but Poland Springs, but sparkling seltzer aid with lemonade.
Very good, Joe. Another freebie. So
everything. Why?
Well, listen, we want to hear from you. Give us a call. Heated hotline 855-313-PATS 24/7. Leave us a message. Hey, what are you drinking out there that's healthy? Like Joe.
Hey.
You know?
Right.
Call us, let us know, especially on Sunday Spread. We want to know your locks of the week and making money for everybody. But we got a good one today. In Pat's preview, we're going to talk Pats Jets round 2. So they're coming to New England tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern kickoff. Joe and I are going to have that breakdown and see if we can get some things done coming out of the bye week. And you know what? We're also going to have, there's another game going on. There's going to be 2 games before we come back for Corso and Catone again, and that's going to be Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota on Thanksgiving night. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and some of the keys to victory there. And, of course, step up to the sports book because we're going to see if we can make you some money. I didn't do so great last week. But we're going to see if we can make you some money on Sunday Spread and have our locks of the week. Maybe Joe will have a little more luck than Mark and I had the last couple of weeks. So, Joseph.
Hey, good to see you. What's happening?
How we feeling? How are we feeling today? Good. Are you ready to step into those big, huge shoes?
As the fans know, I don't do a Mark impression. I wish I could, but would do the best we can. And we're gonna see how it goes here. So, but all
right. Well, hey, let's get it started with Pat's preview. We're going to talk Pat's Jets. Joe, let's have it.
Yeah.
1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. The Jets come calling. Second time playing them round 2 in within a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. So fresh off their loss to the Patriots at home. So they're going to be full of piss and vinegar, aren't they, Joe? Coming into town.
Let's hope so.
So Patriots better get ready for that. And look, breaking this down. Let's get right into the offense because again that much maligned. This has been the issue. They didn't look good against the Colts. I'll tell you that. It was a big gap in victory, but that was all defense. We know it. We saw it. We talked about it. So, this one. So, look, when they run, are the Patriots going to be able to run the ball against this team, Joe?
That's the question. That's the big question. I have some notes. I did collect some notes on this.
Look, he's doing. Hey, Mark, if you're out there listening, Joe's doing his homework, pal. He's right on your heels.
Well, here's the thing, because the offensive line not doing the best, kind of having a hard time, right? They're not doing the greatest. Not as with those fresh guys that we thought were going to do well. Yeah. So as far as what I have over here, I mean, they're middle of the pack. They're 17th, all right, for running, and they're averaging 117.2 yards per game on the ground, and what happens when they do that yardage, that drops them to 26 because what they average per carry is
Yeah.
4 yards. Like
That's a
4.7 yards.
huge
Like,
that's a huge gap.
you
It's a
think
huge
about when you
gap.
start breaking those things down, that's a huge gap. Where do we stand? I want to know from the expert, where do we stand on the run?
Well, the offensive line sucks. So that's it. Show's over. Thanks for
No,
joining us.
they
The
just
offensive line
think
sucks.
when we talk about something completely different.
Right. So no, look, it's what we're seeing. I mean, the offensive line's having a tough time. They're struggling, like you say. Like you said, middle of the pack as far as yards per game goes.
Yeah.
And I think what did you say, about 115, 117, something like that. So
yeah.
But yeah, it's a huge drop from 17 to 26 because the average run per carry is 4 yards. So I mean, and the thing about it is, yeah, the offensive line's playing poorly. Losing Andrews for the couple of games they did hurt. I mean, when you lose a center like him, okay, he's the one who creates all the communication. So Mac Jones comes to the line, right? He gives his calls, and he's setting the protection for the offensive line, and then Andrews is giving some more calls out to the rest of the line. Now, when you got a rookie next to you in Cole Strange, he relies on that center big time.
Right.
So that's the whole thing about it, and so losing that guy, having Ferenz in there was an issue. Andrews is back, so it should get better. But damn, man, they're just not doing well enough. And when you see the average per carry of 4 yards, some of that, a lot of that, Stevenson's making yards when there aren't any.
Right, and that's the thing, it's like, but some of those, do you ever consider some of those, dump passes off the side, play action passes as the run? Like mentally, it's not the run, but it's a pass, but it's one of those things where you assume it's a run because they're coming from behind the line, and you just consider, wait, I thought we had more yardage just because of something like that.
It's another way to run the ball, basically. It's a good point, Joe.
Right.
I mean,
it's
basically running plays without being running plays. Yeah.
Right.
So you wrote those little bubble screens, those little edge passes that you're right, take place behind the line of scrimmage, and then, they gain some yards. So, yeah, I think that's an extension of the running game. Absolutely. So the numbers improve a little bit with that. But they're even having a tough time getting out there, the receivers, blocking up on wide receiver screens and getting that done. Not a lot of good blocking wideouts on this team. So it's going to have to improve. They were only averaging 3.5 per carry against the Jets the first time. But the Jets front is tough. I mean, you got Quinn Williams, you got Sheldon Rankins, the veteran linebacker, you got Mosley. And look, we heard it last week. Mosley was calling out the plays, they said. It was calling out the offensive plays the Patriots were running. That's just coaching, isn't it, Joe?
That's the thing. Like you said, the center's coaching the offensive line. That's the guy on the defense doing the same thing, and everybody's listening.
But talk about Patricia. I mean, if you got defensive players calling the plays out, that's a problem in the play calling, isn't it?
Well, to some degree, I think when you think about somebody like Mac Jones or somebody who sees, let's say, the defense, and then going back to somebody like Tom Brady, when you see and can read the defense and then call out a change of play or some or what the other team is doing on the opposite end as the defense goes, having that guy to do that, and it's not necessarily Patricia or anybody,
So you're basically saying that Mac Jones should be getting him. They should be getting him in and out of different types of plays when he sees different looks. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think Mac Jones has a lot to do with that too. As far as people say, well, like Patricia, the play calling sucks, and it does. Okay, it does. He's struggling, but yeah, I mean, Mac Jones can help him out. A good veteran quarterback can help him out there by getting in and out of stuff. And I don't think he's doing a terrible job of it, but all combined, when you start to pull it all together, it becomes an issue now. But Matt Patricia, yeah, man, it's not working. It's the play calling of him it's just not working.
That's the thing. And Mark had made a good point last week talking about, the idea that he's Mac Jones sitting back there and you can see, on camera, when they're on the sidelines, him kind of questioning, what's that play? Why are we doing that? Questioning why. And I think a good quarterback should be questioning why, because he's seeing something different on the field. You know what I mean? And when you look at Matt Patricia, you go, bro, when's the last time you've been on the field? You know what I mean? It's like,
well, the problem is, the issue is when you get a guy, they don't like the Joe Judge and Matt Patricia aren't like, that's why they like Zappe. Because Zappe just shuts his mouth and does what they tell him to do. He doesn't ask the question why. They don't like the question why because they don't have the answer to the question why.
Because the thing is, at the end of the day, you got to look at it like this. At the end of the day, Mac Jones is like, more than likely, if anybody's going to be fired in this situation come next year, it's going to be you, not me. You know what I mean? To potentially, and so he has to be the guy in charge. If he's going to be the guy in charge, let him be the guy in charge and make those calls right there.
So I think we agree the offensive line is going to play a lot better. I have no problem with the way the backs are playing, but as bad as that is, when you get to the passing game, it's even worse. And the offensive line, again, Mac Jones is getting his ass kicked back there. I mean, he had he was sacked like 4 times against Indy, 6 times, I think it was, against the Jets. And that front was coming after him. And so, now you got a quarterback that isn't as confident in the play calling, isn't as confident in the system. Now he's getting his face kicked in, play after play after play. Okay. Guys are in his face. So now he's not stepping into throws. He's throwing flat-footed. And some of that he's doing on his own, even with the clean pocket. But I can imagine after getting that kind of beating all day, you start to feel the footsteps. Even Brady, you see him ducking down when nobody's around him. That's like, you ever see that movie Slapshot? Yeah. You ever seen that movie Slapshot from the 70s? It was a hockey. Go if you haven't. Everybody out there, go watch that movie Slapshot with Paul Newman. It's like in the 70s. It's about hockey. And the goalie, in between one of the periods, was getting peppered with shots so bad that he comes into the locker room and he's doing this. If you're usually listening on iHeart, Podbean, I'm over here spasming out like that because he felt like that's what's happening to quarterbacks when they're getting hit so bad, right?
Yeah, that's the thing, and it's like, now that comes into question. Everything we just talked about, can he make those decisions? Because now he's been beat up a little bit, and
right, exactly.
It's one of those things where,
and they got a great secondary, Sauce Gardner, and I want to get to keys to victory in offense, but don't forget their secondary: Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, Michael Carter, Whitehead, LaMarcus Joyner. They're only allowing 5.8 per pass play. Joe, that's not.
I mean, like you said, coming off a big win against Buffalo, full of piss and vinegar, and coming into knowing that they're gonna be like, they gotta rule the house, and it's like, this is our house right now. You're coming into, and so these guys have to step that game up. And speaking of which, though, keys to victory. So stepping it up. What is their step up? What are the keys that?
Well, I thought a lot about this over the bye week.
Let's do this. Keys to victory.
Gotta have it. Keys to victory. And I love that little stuff he puts at the bottom of the screen. It's fantastic. And Mark, in your best day, you couldn't do that. I'm talking to him through. I know he's going to be listening. But listen, I give this a lot of thought, and there's a few things that the offense can do. You don't have to change your whole system. Okay. You don't have to change the whole system. Do more of what you do better. Okay. So when you're talking about running the ball, they've been trying to zone block. And then we talked about the zone blocking scheme where they're basically stretch runs, but also inside zone runs where they're blocking to an area and the running back's picking the lane to go through. All right. And you'll see those wide runs. He kind of hands the ball off wide and the offensive line's going out there. Well, look, they're like top of the league in attempts for zone blocking runs. So they try zone blocking runs more than like anybody in the league. And they're like last, they're like at the bottom of the league at success with it. So they try it more than anybody, and they suck worse than anybody at doing it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But listen to this, Joe. When they run gap running, which is basically hat on hat, pulling guards, pulling tackles, getting into a hole. the hole is established, the running back goes through. You'd love to have a fullback in that situation coming through first,
Right. Yeah.
When they do that, okay, they're number 1 in the NFL in success.
Really?
Number 1.
I didn't have that in my notes. Huh. See?
So, they're averaging 6 yards per carry when they're doing that. So, do that.
So a quick interjection question as far as when they're doing that, right?
Yeah.
Having Andrews out the last how many games was it?
2.
Did that dip? The last 2 games, did that dip? And is that one of those reasons why they don't do that successfully or consistently successfully because of something like that? Because you have some guys
dip.
make those gaps.
No, it didn't dip. They're just better at it. It's what they're used to doing coming into the season. And instead of ramming the zone blocking, the zone run game down your throat, let's do a little more what we do best. Okay. So there's that. Then throwing more on first down. Look, doing different things on first down. In the NFL, you have to win on first down. You can't play second, third, and long and have success as an offense. Okay. You certainly can't play behind the sticks, and I'll tell you in a second. But if you throw more on first down, if you're more creative on first down and get yourself into 2nd and 5, then 3rd and 3s, those kinds of things, you're going to have more success. But they're too damn predictable on what they're doing on first down. So that's another key. And you can't play behind the sticks. And what I mean by that is penalties, things like that are pushing them, past 1st and 10, not at 1st and 15 because they had a false start. You can't play behind the sticks. Excuse me, not this offense. So those are some of the things. And you know what? Hey, run some RPO stuff. Run pass option. The best quarterbacks in the league right now are doing that. Allen does it. Burrow does it. You have Mahomes doing it. Do that. Where you're looking like, you're meeting the running back, and it could either be a run or you can drop and pass. That opens things up in the secondary for allowing the receivers to get open. So those are some of the keys to victory, I think, not only in tomorrow's game, but moving forward. Moving forward as an offense. And if they're too stubborn not to do it, and Belichick isn't stubborn like that.
Well,
he knows if something's not working.
Well, it's one of those things too. It's like it's a double-edged sword with him when you go, he's always been known for those freak sort of plays where he's definitely bending the rule book and really maximizing, pushing the envelope as to a certain play or lineup or something like that, where he comes out with the surprise play that everybody has to look into the book to see if that was the rule book, to see if that was legal or not. Right.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Then I also have this feeling that he's like, if, for instance, Patricia gets cute with the plays, I also have the feeling like Bill's always like they're going, you know what? Don't get too cute. Just like do the basics. Let's just do the basics. And then, and then the basics are not working. And obviously
because they're predicting them.
Right. And so it's like, well, you can't tell him do the basics and then not do your fancy, plays. It's like there's like, double-edged sword.
It is. It's too predictable. But the problem is I'm not sure he trusts those guys. And hey, you put them in place, Bill. So you're responsible. So you got to open up you got to take the reins off a little bit. You got to open up this offense because you're playing great teams coming up now. You're Minnesota, Buffalo. I mean, these are teams, Cincinnati. These are good teams. So you better friggin' be able to move the ball. So, listen, and flipping to the other side of the ball now, okay, because that they've been carrying this team right now is the defense. So, okay, when the Jets are going to run, they're going to pass. I give the edge to the Patriots. I mean, what do you think? I mean, the Jets going to be able to run the ball against the Patriots, and keep in mind, Barmore went on IR. He's out. So they're going to rely on Godchow. They're going to rely on Guy. They're going to rely on Weiss, they've been good.
And then and the Jets didn't running back Breece Hall, rookie, went down for an ACL, right? So
and that's hurt them.
Yeah. So I think again, looking at what I got here, in the notes, it doesn't. It just what I got saying is that neither of the teams, given the chance, carries for about 43 yards in the game. All right, so they combined in their first meeting.
Rob, you're talking about Carter and Robinson, right?
I'm talking about James Robinson and Carter combined. Their first meeting is they combined for.
I love the fact that you have notes, Joe. Like he did his homework today.
I got lost in them. I got them written in small. And
hey, listen, for those of you who don't know, this was a last minute thing. I mean, unfortunately, Mark had something he had to go to, a loss that he had to be, service and that kind of thing. So, our sympathies out there to Mark and his family. But Joe, this was a last minute thing, and look at you coming to town. Look at you coming to the table with stats.
That's the thing, just trying to, because going into the games, as we're not so much a stat driven show because we're the real deal. So we're
that's because Mark's always screaming.
Fans, right? We're Patriot fans first. So but there are some things that certain specifics that the fans kind of need to know, and having that little bit of background information of the combined yards that both these running backs have had against us. How does that favor? Does it favor in our favor or not?
Yeah.
And potentially, could we stop something here, like the run, to squeak out that win? I agree with you as far as our defense has been going.
Well, look, the Patriots don't get too enamored with the numbers here, because the Patriots are ranked 22nd in the league, allowing 4.5 yards or more a carry. Right. Okay, and so that's pretty bad. But you have to also understand that much of that damage was done against Baltimore, Green Bay, Chicago, and coincidentally against teams, forget Green Bay, but against teams that have a running quarterback.
We've pretty much
when you
Green Bay off.
Green Bay sucks, man. I can't believe we lost that friggin' game. We couldn't win that game in overtime. Really pisses you off, doesn't it? I mean, it could have been 6-3. Anyway, the 22nd in the league. But again, when they play running quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, and when they played Fields for Chicago, those guys ate them up. Yeah, and that's where the problem was in the running game. But when they play a traditional kind of offense that uses backs, they're pretty damn good against the run. And the edge play has been very good this year too. So, I like their chances. I give the edge to the Patriots in the run game. And as far as passing the ball, again, Patriots too. Look, don't think for 1 second, everybody, Zach Wilson threw the ball 40 plus times. And that's the first time all season against the Patriots, the last time. And that's the first time he did that all season. Before that, he was averaging 20 attempts per game. And it was a freaking disaster. He threw 3 or 4 picks, something like that. And it was a goddamn disaster. So I don't think for 1 second they're going to allow him to throw the ball 40 times again. I hope they do, because the guy's not capable of doing that. And I don't know if his ego goes outside of the team concept. It seems like that with this kid. But if they do pass the ball, I told you before, I've told Mark, I like our secondary and how they're playing. Jonathan Jones is becoming a real good corner in this league. Yeah. I like how Jack Jones is progressing too. Can't stand Miles Bryant though.
Well, I mean, me. I'm just waiting for you guys to send me the red sleeve shirt that goes along with this Patriot shirt, because I've been on Judon, a Judon fan, and hoping that they unleash the beast. And I think slowly but surely that's been coming in. We've seen it. The last time you were off, Mark and I were talking about Judon and him stepping up the game and unleashing that beast inside. And he did. And when he did, they were on top. When he kind of settled back, and it was obvious that it wasn't him, it was the defensive calling, the play calling that slowed him down a bit. The other team took advantage and came up, right? So getting him and putting up that pressure like he's been doing consistently, he's got it in him. Just let him go and do it. Let him make some numbers. You know what I mean? Just do it.
Well, he's making numbers. I mean, he's coming into this game with 11.5 sacks in the league, and I'm pretty sure coming into last week that was number 1 in the league. So he's leading the league in sacks. I'm not sure, because they had the bye week, if anybody passed him, but he was leading, or up there. He was leading the league in sacks. So last year was the same kind of situation. They got to the bye, and then after the bye, he dropped off. but they've managed him a little better as far as stamina goes and keeping him fresh. So I expect him to continue to have that. And what he didn't have last year that he has this year, Dietrich Wise is playing really well on the other side, allowing him to open him up. And as far as Jennings, Uche's playing great right now, on the other side of him. So those are guys I look to give Wilson fits tomorrow again.
Right.
And that's what they're going to have to do to have success. So again, and we get the keys to victory. Looking at that now, what's it going to take for them to win this game on defense? Joe, I mean, what do you think?
That's it. And I wanted to jump in that way because to jump right into keys to victory with that segue with Judon. And that's, to me, is the keys, is to keep him attacking. When we see them attack, and you get it's inevitable. It's inevitable. The other team, the other quarterback, like you said at the beginning, Mac Jones, when you get bopped around a few too many times at the beginning, right? It's hard for a human being to get their head back on straight. I don't care if you're a professional or not. That's what they do. I get it. You're a football player. You're in the game. We get it. But when you get bopped around few too many times, you start questioning, is this guy protecting me? Do I got to change my habits of running? It's something you have that in the back of your head, and that's the key right there, is keeping that kid questioning and keeping Judon and Uche, keep them pushing. I get it, you're talking about stamina, but it's still like, well, break it up but keep pushing. That's the key for sure.
Yeah, and good. Those are all good points. Hey, Mark, you better bring it next show, because this is going to be Joe's challenging you right now. But again,
like an email from Elon Musk, and he thought he could, retire early, or because he fired everybody on Twitter.
Yeah. I want to get fired off into space. Musk, send me off into space. That's where I need to be, Friggin' in space is where I want to be. But no, my keys are look, play, and this is more like on the offense too, but let's not play from behind. Let's play ahead. So if we're playing ahead, okay, if we got the lead and we got to force this team to throw the ball, that's the key on defense. Force this team to throw the ball. Win on first down. If they can win on first down, stop that running game and put the ball in Wilson's hands and seal that edge against him, they're going to have a lot of success in this game, and that's my key to victory. So this portion of Corso and Catone was presented by Corso Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. CorsoLawGroup.com. Allow us to be your voice. Hey, look, there's 2 games in 1 week. So we're going to break down some of that Minnesota game and give you some keys to victory in this, and we're going to do that right after this.
It's that time again for a timeout for a message from one of our sponsors. No one ever thinks they will be in the need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Corso Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Their 20-plus years experience and attention to detail has helped thousands of people all across this great country who found themselves in a situation in Arizona. So whether it's a traffic ticket or if you need reduced DUI or more serious issues, call or go online to CorsoLawGroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help you. Corso Law Group.
Back in with more Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel. And hey, listen, Thanksgiving night, the nightcap is going to be the Patriots traveling to Minnesota to play that team who's coming into this week, 8-1, 7-1, 8-1. One of the top teams in football right now. God, man, when they played the Bills last week and to come back and win that game in Buffalo, shut those people right up, didn't they? And you know what? Because we're not going to be on in a post game. And by the way, let me just say that but the Patriots schedule's changing up pretty good here. I mean, coming forward. I mean, they got 4 night games in a row.
Well,
I mean, something like that coming up.
This happened last season too. So it's, to some degree, as far as our fans go, as far as the Pats Nation fans are concerned, and the Corso Catone fans, because some there are a little bit of a split, but it's because some people just catch the game after the post-game show. But that's going to change. A lot of those things have changed because of the Patriots schedule changing, and they're going to do a lot of night games and stuff.
So as their schedule changes, our schedule is going to change. You know, we know, hey, especially at Thanksgiving night, people are going to be bloated with turkey and falling asleep with all those carbs in you and all that stuff in you. Joe's probably going to be,
and everybody's sleeping.
Mark's not even going to be coherent.
Get it?
Yeah. Mark's not going to be after stuffing his face all day. He's not going to be coherent at all. So we know you want us fresh, and we want you fresh. So our schedule is going to change up. So tune in tomorrow to the Pats Nation, the only Patriots post-game show worth watching, 30 minutes following the Patriots-Jets game. We're going to give you all that schedule change and talk to you about that. But Joe, this Minnesota game coming out, I just want to talk briefly about it. Damn, Minnesota's tough, you know, and I'm not sure. I'm still not a huge believer in Kirk Cousins. I'm just not.
He's one of those guys, though. He's like a Eli Manning, where it just pulls something out, you know, and to some degree, you know, we should probably add in a flavor of fantasy football somewhere down the line in this show, so this little segment, because like in fantasy football, he's one of those guys who just comes out with like 300, 400 yards, a couple touchdowns, and you go, where did that come from?
Right.
All of a sudden, and he's one of those guys who does that, and that potentially means a win too. You know what I mean? So it's like,
well, look, when the deal is this, they got a good defense, they got a good linebacker play, okay, things like that, and so when we're on offense, I mean, there's the potential to struggle a lot. I'm interested to see how they come out against the Jets, to see what kind of changes were made or what their emphasis is going to be, because going into Minnesota, you can't have a lot of mistakes. You can't have a lot of penalties. You can't have turnovers. You're going to get beat, and you're going to get beat bad. So the Patriots are going to have to clean a lot up on offense. They're going to have to put some into Mac Jones' hands to get some things done down the field, and they're going to have to be a little more creative on offense, Matt Patricia and company, and getting some of that play calling in, because you're going to have to control the clock. And that defensive front's tough. Those linebackers are tough. They go sideline to sideline. So that zone blocking crap isn't going to work against them. It's just not. And so you're going to have to, you know, they gave up a lot of points against Buffalo, but that's Buffalo, you know? So we'll see what happens in that. Look for some changes in the offense. Yeah, I mean, that the keys to that.
Not to have a real shitty defense. You know what I mean? They haven't really had like a bad defense for a long, long time. Like they consistently keep a fairly good defense. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Minnesota,
Minnesota. So it's always
they always have good linebacker play. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And so it's one of those things. You know, you look at them. That's what makes this week against the Jets so much more important going into the second half, because it's like we need to have that piss and vinegar going into a Minnesota game.
Well, you don't want to have the piss and vinegar because you lost.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Oh, you're right. Totally. Right. Yeah, let's just kill him now. We lost.
Yeah,
I agree.
But no, look, it's the secondary. I don't know about the secondary for Minnesota. I think they can, you know, I think Parker may be back this week too, so and he'll get a game under his belt and then be able to do something against Minnesota. But to me, the key is going to be, it's going to be the play calling. It's going to be the offensive OC, the plan against Minnesota. That's the only way, because you're going to have to steal one of these games to make the playoffs. It's going to take 9 wins, 10 wins in that range. You're going to have to steal a game that you shouldn't be winning, and this is what that Minnesota is going to be one of those games.
And what?
So you hope.
So you look at that.
No, go ahead.
We lost your audio for a second. Well, you look at the rest of the teams that we are going up against. We got Buffalo just after them, Arizona, Vegas, the Raiders, the Bengals, and then back to Dolphins, Buffalo again.
Tough.
And so like, tough. You know, as far as like, we may squeeze out of Miami. You never know. Raiders were hoping one of those things too. And, Arizona's always like, we don't know, but Buffalo's going to be tough anyway. So you're right. A Minnesota win, a Jets win for sure. You know what I mean? You need Minnesota squeak out or Arizona squeak out somewhere down the line. You need a couple of those to get in, right?
Yeah, and Arizona, the only problem Arizona presents, and they're playing Colt McCoy now. The only problem that Arizona was going to be presenting to us was, not to get ahead of ourselves, but was Kyler Murray running another running quarterback. So I think Kingsbury will have a clue and put him in against the Patriots if he's watched any tape. So we'll see. Yeah, they're going to steal some games on the road. They're going to have to steal some games we thought they couldn't win. Vegas may be one of those, and so is in Arizona. But yeah, Minnesota, got to get creative on offense. You're going to have to do a lot better, and I'm so interested to see tomorrow what they've done on offense coming out of the bye. And defensively, look, it's got to be more of the same because Kirk Cousins does not fare well against pressure.
Right.
If you could put pressure on Cousins, he has problems. He'll throw picks. He'll make mistakes. He'll short hop things. He'll try to get out of there. That's what you got to do. You have to be able to get pressure on him on defense, which means Dalvin Cook is going to be controlled. That running back there is legit. And you've got to be able to control that running game of theirs because that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to want to run the ball instead of just putting it in Cousins' hands to throw 40 times. So if you can get control of the running game, and we'll see how they are tomorrow, there's not going to be Barmore probably for the rest of the season. So it's going to be Gotcha, Wise, Guy. I mean, these are the guys that are going to have to get it done.
Right.
And we'll see what happens against Minnesota, but that's a tough team, man. There's a reason they're 8-1, and can go to Buffalo and win that game. But a lot of people are still not sold on them. When we get to Sunday spread, we're going to talk about that Minnesota game coming up against Dallas tomorrow because it's very interesting. The line in that game tells us a lot. So to me, those are the keys on both sides of the ball. Joe, I mean, on defense, do you see it differently? Are the linebackers going to give us a problem in that Minnesota game?
Yeah,
that middle of the field,
I still, see, here's the thing. I still stick with the same game plan I say for every single game. It's because, like you said, if we keep the pressure on, no matter who it is, there's always the potential because you can go and I know we try not to mention his name, the name on the show, but for all intents and purposes, when you get someone who can do and read the defense and
living the bachelor life now,
everybody knows when Brady was pressured, he sucked. Yeah. He could not pull it out, and you go, that's a guy who should be able to pull it out because he's reading things a little better than a lot of other quarterbacks in past, present, right now. And you go, if he couldn't do it because he was pressured, nobody else can do that either. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so I stick to the same point. If we continue with that same sort of idea and keep those heavy guys in the front on the line to Judon and Uche and get those guys in there pressuring, forcing some of that the runs, but like still containing it and getting him out of the pocket, getting him out of his element, regardless of what comfort zone. You could potentially, but then the offense needs to capitalize when they do that, which we haven't done. You know what I mean?
Tom Brady's living the life now, man. He's he's a bachelor. He's out there. He's out in the joints. That right, man? growing up, going into the nightclubs and listening to that.
This one,
I don't know what the hell. I don't know what the hell's the matter with me, man. I'm losing it today. I think, right?
He's out there like that.
Who loves you, baby?
That's one of the funniest damn movies. That Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell. That's one of the funniest damn movies I've seen in a long time, man. That is, but
comedy.
No, but you're right. Look, even if Brady couldn't recognize pressure pre-snap and then go to a read, something like that, that's where he was the best. But if you fooled him and you brought pressure, he was not getting out of the pocket. He was not getting things done that way. You're right. And so, I agree. They're going to have to put pressure on Cousins, and he doesn't do well against it. His numbers are shit against pressure. Right. So, to me, that's what we're going to have to do. Those are our keys to victory against Minnesota and things that we're going to have to do. And Joe, listen, we didn't do it, but let's do it now. We got a minute. So, what's your prediction tomorrow? Who's winning that game? Patriots, Jets, and then I'm going to want one for Minnesota too.
Right. My prediction is the Patriots, because I do feel that the games that we were watching for them to step up, even though I think I think it was Green Bay. We came short, but it wasn't a bad short. So it's one of those things where you go, I think they're starting to build momentum, and I think it's a perfect time to start the momentum, especially with Mac Jones coming back and coming off, the bye week, and hopefully they're all fresh and ready to go, and he's healthy and ready to rock and roll, and we start it now and start that roll. Even if we do have a loss or two in between, this game needs to be a win. And I think they're going to do it. And it's the Jets. And come on, they're still the Jets. You know what I mean?
They beat Buffalo, though. They
They're
beat
still
Buffalo.
But you know what? They're still the Jets. Come on.
Yeah. But, Buffalo, I will say, that was one of those games where they rolled their helmets out and thought they could just win. Although when we get to breaking down Buffalo in a couple of weeks, there's some chinks in that armor that we're going to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
I like the Patriots, too, tomorrow in this one. A tight game, a close game, because I think they are going to shut the run down. Yeah, okay. I mean, the Jets come out piss and vinegar, like we said, about losing that game. The only thing that concerns me is the last few years, the Patriots have come out of the bye really bad. They would look bad coming out of the bye. They don't look ready to play. They look flat. And my fear is if you do that tomorrow and they jump on top of you, the Patriots offense is not built to come back.
But listen, here's the thing. It's one of those things I can't stand it. I feel like it's their MO. So many years, for so many years, the past decade, they've always done that. And I'm like, is it
come out of the bye week
to no, like most games? Like, I'm like, do we have to bring every game down to the wire, down to the kicker? And it seems I'm like, why can't we stay on top and just steamroll people? I think we only had that the year we had Moss. It was the only year that we steamrolled people
all their Super Bowls were tight games.
Yeah. And so now, all these games.
Listen how spoiled you are. Look at how spoiled you are. Talking about the last decade of all those wins we got, but they were close games at the end. Go Super Bowls, tight games. You know what? What a spoiled friggin' brat you are.
I'm a Pats fan, so it's like I want to win. You know what I mean? Nobody likes going to the game and going, we got to do it, because then that brings up CORSO CATONE. That brings up a show like this. Come back and go, what are they doing? What the hell is they doing out there? What is Belichick doing? What's Patricia doing? And so
Mark's breaking his New Year's resolution immediately.
yeah,
screaming and yelling. And about Minnesota.
It's going to be a tight one. But you know what, though? It's going to be a tight one. But you know who I'm relying on? Folk. Because he's got what, 20? He's 19 for 21.
He's their offensive MVP so far.
Yeah, you know what? And you go,
Stevenson.
You look at people like him, and shoot, my God, I'm losing the kicker we had. What the hell? Who the hell is it?
Oh, Gostowski. We had Gostowski.
Mm-hmm. I still feel like he should bring him back anyways, just because.
Right.
But guys like that, they just consistent. It's like, listen, we can't fully rely on that. That's what I think they do. But the fact that he's potentially a savior in that regard, and it comes down to a field goal, I think the Patriots potentially could be close and come out with a field goal win against Minnesota.
They're not winning that game. I want them to win. I want to believe they're going to win that game. I just think Minnesota's too tough.
One of those things where they're knowing that we're going to roll over, and those are the games that we got to win. But those are also the games that start that momentum as like we can actually get to the playoffs and do this, and that's where what it needs to happen.
Oh, they need to. They need to establish something there and be able to show the rest of the league, hey, we're not dead yet. And and that's a
team,
and that's a game you can do that. But the only thing I do like is for them game preparation. It's a short week and a holiday. So when you're preparing Monday, you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's it. Your game plan's got to go in. All of that, they're working on it now. So I do like Belichick in that situation over Minnesota's coaching staff.
Right.
In game is the issue that we have the problem with Patricia and so on. But preparation and planning, you like to give Belichick the edge. So we'll see what happens. I don't think they're going to pull that out, but I hope I'm wrong. So
we'll
see what happens
on Thanksgiving. Though I feel like they should have been in the mix. Back in the day, it kind of came about with Detroit and all that stuff. But it's like I also think that Dallas too. Dallas is one of those teams that probably should be playing on the Thanksgiving in
always
Patriots.
It's always Dallas, Detroit. Always Dallas, Detroit. Always Dallas, Detroit.
But I think the Patriots should be also one of those teams in that mix.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of make it a thing.
Yeah, I'm with you. So the Pats preview was presented by Special Sauce Podcast. What's your special sauce? I'm looking for the camera, Joe. I'm like, where's the camera? We don't only have one. Special Sauce Podcast.com. When we come back, step up to the sports book, step up to the window. We're going to make you some money, hopefully make you some money. We're going to go in real deal. Nothing's more real, Joe, than
nothing's
money.
More real than real deal money.
So we're going to go real deal Sunday spread right after this.
It's the Special Sauce Podcast. You liking this song? This sauce is good, man.
This will start off as finance. Train them, trust them, and let them lead.
With your host, Marcus Aurelius.
Back in with more Corso and Catone, the real deal, New England feel. Okay. It's time for Sunday spread, Joe. It's the real deal, so let's have it. What are you writing now?
So I'm working over here. You're talking about nonsense. I'm working.
That's why we are the real deal, New England feel. It's going to be real. He's working.
I love it.
He's working. We are the real deal, New England feel. And we're going to get real now with Sunday spread, Joseph. And so looking at some of these games, I know, again, Mark, this was a sudden thing. Mark couldn't do the show, so I don't have his lock of the week. I know that he had an opinion about that Dallas game. And I know we'll get to your lock right now because I know you liked Detroit game, the Detroit Giants game, where Detroit's traveling to the Giants. Giants are giving up 3 points to Detroit. And you had mentioned to me before the show too. Yeah.
Isn't it Dallas?
Dallas is playing Minnesota. And unless I'm like completely wrong.
Right.
No, Detroit's playing the Giants, and it's a 3-point spread where the Giants are giving Detroit 3. And you told me, you said that's my lock.
Oh, it was you know what?
Tell me.
I had it on scrolled, but it was literally like the scroll was just below, so I was looking for it. And
it's the next game. So we look at DraftKings. We look a lot on DraftKings for the spreads and the lines and all those things. Yeah, that's what I was saying to Mark last week. If you scroll up, if you keep scrolling, it'll keep going week to week, and so you're screwing up who they're playing. But I know you like the Giants in this game.
What we were looking at. I'm going to do that. Let's do that. Here it is. This is the just to give the fans a little idea. It's like we're not sponsored. Just the FYI, we're not sponsored by any of these shows as far as DraftKings or any platforms or anything like that. But we have to have some sort of cornerstone as to what we're all talking about. But we're going off of this just to give them an idea.
But there you go. So the Giants are giving up 3 points. The over-under in that game is 45. And why do you like the Giants? Why is this your lock?
I don't know. It's just the Giants. Just kind of, I think, I don't think Detroit has it in them. And it's just a feeling. It's one of those things. I think that's what it always comes down to because I tend to go that route as far as the feeling of it all. And sometimes I know I go for colors, things like that. When you have a dominant,
I was just about to say, don't you pick like jersey colors and stuff like that?
That's a thing, but then it breaks down to a feeling because like sometimes the stats, the stats don't do it for me all the time. Like, because you always get one of those situations where it's like we're talking about Minnesota being 8-1. It's like there's always a potential you get. Like Buffalo rolls in and then, they're, thinking, we're just going to come in and win this game. And that never happens because the underdog, I'm always an underdog sort of favorite. But in this regard, I think the Giants would take it. I think they'll come out on top.
You hippie freak, you. You gotta get one of those flower cars driving across the country, listening to sounds of the 70s.
I'm trying to get in touch with Roger to get him, see what he's smoking. I want some.
He is a friggin' freak, though, that dude. Let me tell you. But I like the Giants, too. I'm surprised the line's 3. I mean, I understand. First of all, can Detroit win 2 games in a row? That's number 1. And 2, they got to go on the road. Now, look, Detroit scores a lot of points, but they also allow a ton of points, too. I know the Giants haven't looked stellar in the last couple of games, but they always find a way to win. If it were 3.5, I may feel a little different, but because it's 3, I think the Giants, even 3.5. Look, I think the Giants are going to win at home. I think they're going to establish themselves and say, look, it isn't just Philadelphia in this division. Philly lost their first game. Now Giants want to fight to see if they can win that division. So, and they're trying to hold off Dallas too in that division. I think the Giants are going to have a good showing. I think Barkley's going to run, right over this Detroit team. And so I think they cover that spread. And I agree with you. I like the Giants in that game too. And, since we're talking going right to locks, I'm going to go to mine. And this is where people think I've heard the experts this week. I'm talking about Dallas, Minnesota, and the line. Last check, it was 1.5. Let me look. Let's see if it's still the same. But it was 1.5. Let me see, Joe. I'm looking at it, and I see 2 points now. So, listen, people are going for Dallas. People are betting Dallas. And I even like it better with a 2-point spread. So listening to the experts in this, the so-called experts, they're coming in saying, look, Dallas is better team than Minnesota, top to bottom. They're playing better. They're getting healthier on defense. So Dallas is going to put a lot of pressure on. They put a lot of pressure on quarterbacks. They're like leading the league in pressure on QBs, and they're going to do the same thing to Minnesota. And what I just said in the last segment, now I'm going to contradict myself. What I said in the last segment about Cousins not playing well in the pressure, I look at a 2-point spread. I look at a home underdog. And by the way, Minnesota's getting the 2 points at home against Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay. So I look at a home dog that's 8-1 that finds ways to win games. And because it's such a low, they find the way to win, and so now it's up to 2 points. So I'm taking the 2. I'm taking Minnesota. I'm taking the 2 points. And Dallas has disappointed me a lot in some of the way they play this year.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's as much. Everybody's like, Dallas. I'm taking Dallas. This is ridiculous. And yeah, they should be favored, blah, blah, blah. Take Minnesota. Take the 2 points. Bury it. That way you can come after me on Thanksgiving. You don't get it done. But bury Minnesota. Take it as a lock of the week. They win this game at home, and then hopefully they lose the next one at home on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
So they to me, they win this game. That's the lock of the week. And 2 other games, Joe, that I was looking at were the Kansas City game at the Chargers. Kansas City's giving the Chargers 5 points going on the road. So the Chargers are a home dog too, which I know you like, getting points. But I got to tell you, Herbert doesn't, I thought he was one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He's not impressing me. I think the coach sucks. I think the coach for the Chargers stinks. I think he's, he follows the analytics too much. I just think he sucks. Yeah. Josh McDaniels should have waited and taken that job next year because I think he's going to get canned. But so I'm taking Kansas City, even giving up. Then I think they're going to cover that spread 5 points. They're just too much. They're going to be too much for the Chargers. Historically, the Chargers win against Kansas City at home, but I don't think so. You?
Kansas City is just, they're also, obvious for the obvious reasons, but when they start getting on their horse of winning, it's going to be hard to stop Kansas City because they get excited, because it's a team element too. I think they have a good team element that coming into every game, they have fun. They look like they're having fun, and they look like. But you have specific players like Kelsey on that team on the offense, right? That can make their own plays. We don't have that. You know what I mean? Like Kelsey
No.
and Holmes they could look at each other and he could go, I'm going outside, whatever, and make a play, make a big play, like a third down conversion. And it's like when teams have that and then start have that winning, that we can do this again and we're going to come back with another Super Bowl trophy. It's like when they start that, it's like it's going to be hard to stop them from that. And I think this bye week, this running into this week is the start of all those things right now.
Yeah.
I
like I said, I like Kansas City even giving up the points. I'm taking them. And the other game too, Carolina versus Baltimore. It's a 13-point spread. Okay, so this one's a little bit of I'm taking Baltimore even though Baltimore at home giving up 13 points against Carolina. Carolina sucks. They suck. Yeah. I think Baltimore is just going to this is going to be the game of the day where it's just a complete, utter destruction. They're going to take Carolina's soul in this game. And I even heard that Baker Mayfield may play, maybe the quarterback, starting for Carolina this week. That's even better because Mayfield stinks. He may throw 3 or 4 picks himself. You know, so again, I think they cover 13 points. And as far as the Patriots game goes, Patriots a favorite 3.5. I wouldn't touch it. Well, we don't touch it anyway, but I wouldn't touch that spread. What I would touch in that game is the over. You know, the over under is 38 points.
Yeah.
It's not high. It's not a high number. It's not.
No.
I would take that over. I think they're going to score 40 between the two of them.
Yep. I think so.
So, well, because if you feel like that game's going to be
it's going to be those elements, if like you said earlier, if they don't fall behind immediately, they come out starting. When they do, that point over under, you could see the Jets will keep up and they'll definitely go over 40.
Yeah, you know? I think so too. I think both teams may be in the 20s. It only take one team to get in the 20s, and then you get a team in the late teens, and you're there, right? So.
We're there,
all right.
man.
Well, hey, Sunday spread was presented by Studio 42 Design, Studio 42. It's the numbers, 42designs.com for all your graphic design needs. And hey, that's it, my friend. Corso and Catone was presented by the Pats Nation, the only Patriots postgame show worth watching. Join us tomorrow, 30 minutes following round 2. Ding, ding, ding. Patriots, Jets. Mark and I and Joe will have all your post-game breakdown 30 minutes following that game. And make sure you stay tuned the whole show tomorrow because we got some schedule changes for the Patriots.
Yep.
And like the Patriots, Corso and Catone, the Pats Nation, we're going to have some schedule changes too. So stay tuned for that. Come back next week, 7 p.m. Eastern, as we recap the Patriots-Vikings Thanksgiving Day game showdown and preview the Pats Bills Thursday night game following. And hey, for all your gambling needs, but you know what? Hey, listen, gamble responsibly. Do what I always say. Don't gamble because you need to. Gamble because you want to. Right?
Right. Like gamble responsibly. Drink responsibly. Responsible drinking or gambling, not doing it at all. But where's the fun in that? Come on.
Yeah. So, but don't eat responsibly. So this Thursday. But yeah, for all your gambling fanatics, you come back next Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, and give us a call. Heated hotline, 855-313-PATS. Want to know your locks of the week? Make us some money too. Like we're going to make you some money. And look, for everybody out there, yes, gamble responsibly, drink responsibly, but don't eat responsibly. You all have a wonderful, happy, and safe Thanksgiving. Stuff your faces like I know Mark's going to do. It's the mother of all meals, Joe.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like you got to have the whole day. Don't do anything. Just be there. Put the football on. Get the turkey. Whatever it is you eat. I'm more so the sides guy. I love all the sides.
Yeah.
That anyways, the turkey.
I like eating early.
One of those things where it's like I never really cared about the turkey anyways. By the point it came out, I'm like I'm dealing with all this other stuff. Love it.
Yeah, I like eating early, so that later on, those turkey sandwiches with the cranberry and the pickled peppers. Hey, look, we're Italian. We're heritage Italian. We're gonna be stuffing our face all day long, which is why you're gonna do the same thing. That way you can come and listen to us Saturday, and we'll break down that Minnesota game. We'll have that recap and anything you want to talk about, because we are Corso and Catone and Joe, the real deal New England feel. We'll see you next Saturday.